Not long ago, projects of this scale belonged only to imagination and science fiction. But today, China is turning the impossible into concrete and steel. In just a few decades, the country has transformed itself into one of the greatest infrastructure forces on the planet, delivering engineering achievements so bold that they have stunned the world, including the President of the United States, who openly expressed amazement at the sheer scale of China's progress. Among these achievements, nothing captures global attention quite like its colossal megabridges. But what makes them so exceptional? Why do these structures command such worldwide fascination? In this video, I'm going to show you the 8 most impactful Chinese megabridges that have pushed engineering beyond its known limits. But before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Structures so advanced they look straight out of science fiction, yet they are absolutely real. 8. The highway to the sky. A highway rising thousands of feet above the clouds once sounded absurd until China built it. The Western Highway to the Sky is far more than a road. It is a triumph over some of the most extreme and unforgiving terrain on Earth. The Yangtze Expressway spans roughly 149 miles across towering mountains, massive rivers, and rugged landscapes, climbing from about 1,970 feet to over 10,500 feet above sea level. That represents an average elevation gain of more than 23 feet per mile. Constructed between 2007 and 2012 at a cost of $3 billion. This mega highway depends on an astonishing network of engineering works, including dozens of bridges, tunnels, and viaducts carved directly into the mountains. The true centerpiece, however, is the Ganghaizi Bridge, a structure nearly 1.1 miles long that resembles a colossal roller coaster suspended at an altitude of approximately 2,200 feet. It became the first bridge in the world to use interwoven reinforced concrete beams. And, as if that weren't impressive enough, the same route also features the Baipanjiang Bridge, currently recognized as the highest bridge on Earth, with a staggering vertical drop of 1,854 feet from deck to ground. It's as if an entire skyscraper were laid horizontally across a valley. This highway proves once and for all that when China decides to link 2 points, no mountain range, valley, or abyss is too great, they quite literally build a road to the sky. 7th. The Endless Bridge. One project. $20 billion. Nearly a decade of construction. The Hong Kong-Macau Bridge is nothing short of monumental, stretching 34 miles and connecting 3 major regions through an intricate system of bridges and submerged tunnels. Built between 2009 and 2018 at a total cost of $20 billion. It stands as one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in China's history. The payoff was extraordinary. What once required 3 hours of travel between Hong Kong and Macau was reduced to just 30 minutes. But speed is only part of the story. The true brilliance lies in the design itself. The structure is divided into 3 distinct sections: a massive open-sea bridge, an underwater tunnel, and a series of connecting bridges. This complexity exists for a reason. Every possible threat was accounted for: typhoons, tsunamis, earthquakes, and even direct collisions with ships, weighing up to 300,000 tons. This bridge is more than an engineering achievement. It is a declaration. China demonstrated that it can connect what once seemed permanently separated, creating a highway across the sea, engineered to withstand the most violent forces nature can unleash. 6th. The Celestial Bridge. Building a bridge that literally disappears into the clouds was not just a technical challenge, it was nearly impossible. The Celestial Bridge, located in Guizhou Province, is a masterpiece that stretches for more than 1.3 miles across a deep valley. Built between 2016 and 2019, the bridge is supported by 3 gigantic towers, the tallest of which is about 98 feet taller than the Eiffel Tower, rising roughly 1,083 feet above the ground. The network of cable stays creates a breathtaking visual spectacle that extends to the horizon. And do you know what the most fascinating detail is? Its nickname is no coincidence. The bridge is called Celestial because, due to its extraordinary height, clouds frequently envelop it, creating the illusion that it vanishes into the sky. Built at a cost of $215 million, this investment completely transformed the region. It significantly improved traffic efficiency and helped reduce poverty in neighboring provinces by connecting previously isolated areas. Can you imagine driving on a bridge that literally disappears into the clouds? It's like driving straight into the sky. 5th. The Floating Bridge. Supported by a single 492-foot tower and suspended nearly 984 feet above a deep abyss. The Luqiang Bridge in Yunnan Province is an engineering marvel that truly appears to levitate over a mountain gorge. This steel and concrete colossus, almost half a mile long, hangs more than 984 feet above a vertiginous drop. But how do they achieve this floating effect? The answer lies in its ingenious design. A massive 492-foot tall tower supports the entire deck through steel cables, with only 2 anchoring points on either side of the valley. Built between 2019 and 2022, The bridge literally cuts through the mountain via tunnels, creating a connection that drastically reduces travel time in the region. With 2 decks and 4 traffic lanes, it serves as a vital artery for local transportation. But here's a warning. This engineering wonder is not for drivers afraid of heights. Crossing it requires serious courage or, at the very least, resisting the temptation to look down into the void. Would you dare to drive on a road that floats in midair? The Chinese have shown that when it comes to connecting communities, no natural obstacle is strong enough to stop them. Fourth, the confusing bridge. An interchange with 5 levels and 20 different routes sounds like traffic's worst nightmare. The Chengxin Interchange, nicknamed the Confusing Bridge, is the most complex overpass you will ever see. Located in Chongqing, this monstrous engineering work took 8 years to build, from 2009 to 2017. Why so long? Because it features a colossal structure about 121 feet tall, with 5 levels, 20 different routes, and 3 highways crossing at the same point. At a cost of $230 million, thousands of vehicles circulate daily through this labyrinthine structure. But here's the incredible part. Despite its apparent complexity, authorities claim that navigating it is actually quite simple. Of course, that's assuming you can read Chinese road signs. Otherwise, you might spend the entire day driving in circles. It's like a gigantic 3-dimensional puzzle where every piece is a road. Can you imagine using GPS there? It would probably lose its mind trying to calculate the route. The Chinese turned a highway interchange into a modern work of art that defies conventional logic. Third, the desert bridge. 13 million plants used as a shield against some of the most devastating sandstorms on the planet. Here, the Chinese built something many believed was impossible, a railway bridge that defies constant sandstorms. The desert bridge is part of the Hotan Railway, a monumental project that includes 5 elevated bridges supported by 434 prefabricated pillars, covering nearly 31 miles of otherwise impassable desert terrain. But the Chinese didn't stop there. To combat the sandstorms that could bury the tracks, they planted 13 million plants around the structure, creating a natural barrier against the elements. It's as if they transformed a desert into a railway garden. Construction began in 2018, and the 513-mile route was inaugurated in 2022. It is now part of a circular rail line exceeding 1,680 miles that completely surrounds the desert, allowing trains to travel at speeds of up to 75 miles per hour. Can you imagine seeing a high-speed train emerge like a mirage in the middle of the desert? The Chinese made it real, challenging one of the harshest environments on Earth. Second, the Dragon Bridge, a 3-level highway that snakes over a mountain in the shape of a giant dragon. The Dragon Bridge, located on Tianlong Mountain, is undoubtedly a masterpiece of creative engineering. This spectacular 3-level roadway winds across the mountain with an elevation variation of about 1,148 feet, using 7,000 tons of steel and thousands of tons of cement. But here's the most impressive part. How long do you think it took to build? Chinese engineers completed this architectural marvel in just 1 year. Construction began in March 2018, and the bridge opened in May 2019. To put that into perspective, there are cities where it takes longer to fix a pothole than it took China to build a 3-level bridge over a mountain. The design is no coincidence. The Chinese built it to resemble a giant dragon lying across the mountain, connecting lowlands to high-altitude regions. It was a far more economical solution than drilling tunnels through the entire mountain range. Can you imagine driving on this structure? It's literally like driving along the back of a steel dragon. First, the Ferris wheel bridge. Combining a functional bridge with a gigantic 394-foot-tall Ferris wheel sounded like a crazy idea. In Tianjin, we find something completely unique in the world, a bridge that is also a Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel bridge is not famous for conventional architecture, but for serving as the base of the Tianjin Eye, an imposing Ferris wheel standing 394 feet tall. This structure combines functionality and innovation in an extraordinary way. The Ferris wheel can carry up to 768 passengers per hour in its 48 cabins, completing one full rotation every 30 minutes. But here's the fascinating detail. While visitors enjoy panoramic views high above, traffic flows normally across the bridge below. Construction began in 2007 and was completed the same year, but the Ferris wheel itself only opened in 2008. Why? Because the Chinese conducted exhaustive safety tests to ensure the wheel wouldn't go rolling through the city. Imagine the headline: giant Ferris wheel rolls through the streets of Tianjin. Every night, the bridge transforms into a neon light spectacle reflected in the high river, creating an image that attracts tourists and locals alike. It is the perfect fusion of practical infrastructure and urban entertainment. Who, besides China, would think of combining a bridge with a giant Ferris wheel? We've explored 8 engineering wonders that demonstrate why China has become the world's uncontested infrastructure superpower. From bridges that look like miniature toys to highways that seem to rise into the clouds, Every one of these structures pushes the boundaries of what we once believed was possible. Which of these megabridges impressed you the most? Would you have the courage to drive across any of them? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.